We ended the last video with getting 3 servos programmed to all go to the 0-degree angle. I'm going to start this video by showing you how to hook up the 3 servos and wire them to your PSOC. So you might have already done this part if you just finished the last video where you got the 3 servos to go to 0 degrees. If you already have your 3 servos hooked up, you can go ahead and skip this video. So first of all, I have some servos here that have a male connector like this, and I have some servos with a female connector. And it doesn't matter which ones you have, we can hook them up regardless. I'm going to take my servo that has the male header and I'm going to plug it into my solderless breadboard here like this. The other servos I can hook up with jumpers directly to their connector. Now before I hook up these servos, I'm going to do a little bit of setup with my board. I'm going to take a jumper wire and plug it into a pin that's labeled VDD. One of the pins that is VDD is over here on the side, and I'm going to connect that to the power rail on my solderless breadboard. If you're not familiar with how a solderless breadboard works, all of these pins here are connected, or all of these holes here are all connected together, and all of these holes here are connected together so that you can put power to the red rail and then have power at all of these holes, and you can connect ground to this blue rail and then have ground available at all of these holes. So I've connected VDD, which is 5 volts, from my PSOC to the power rail, and then I'm also going to take a jumper and connect it to a pin that's labeled GND for ground and connect it to the blue rail so that I have ground available here. Now I can connect this servo with its male header by plugging a jumper wire into the same row where I have the red wire connected and plug it into my power rail. Similarly, I can take another jumper and connect it to the same row as the black wire and plug it into the ground rail, and now I have power and ground to that servo. You'll notice that that servo you just plugged in, you can still rotate the servo horn. That means that this servo is not holding its position. The reason why this servo is not holding its position yet is because I haven't yet plugged in the signal wire, which is the white one. So I'm going to connect another jumper to that white wire, and I'm going to make this be the pin 30, which is my first servo, or angle 1 in the code. So I'm going to find pin 30 and plug it in there. And when I do, you'll notice that the servo moves, and now I can't turn the horn. It's holding its position. I want to keep track of this servo that I just plugged in because this is going to be angle 1. So I want this to be the first servo in the articulated manipulator that I built. So I'm going to set it aside. Now let's hook up the next one here. I'm going to take a jumper wire and plug it into the red wire and connect it to my power rail. And then I'll take another jumper, plug it into the black wire, and connect it to the ground rail. And now for the signal, I'll connect another wire to the white wire. And this one, if you remember in our code, for the second angle, angle 2, we connected that to pin 3-1. So I'll flip this over if I can and find pin 3-1. And you'll see that when I do, the servo moves and also it starts to hold its position, and that's how I can tell that it's working. So I connect the red wire to the power rail. I connect the black wire to the ground rail. And the white signal wire I connect to pin 3-4, which I think is right there. And the servo moved and held its position, so it looks good. I've got servos 2 and 3 here, and this is servo 1.